Hello class 8 students, welcome everyone. So in this video we will be discussing about wheels reduce friction. Okay. Um One more topic is there, that is fluid friction. We are going to discuss in this video only. Okay, in the last video we have discussed about how to increase and how to decrease friction, right? So wheels reduces friction. Okay, by fitting wheels on a heavy load we can reduce the friction. Okay, or we can reduce the frictional force. Okay, friction can be reduced by using wheels to move objects, okay, which we are going to discuss first of all here. Clear? So take the example of heavy suitcase, right? As you can see, this boy is dragging a suitcase, right? So take the example of a heavy suitcase. It is very difficult to move a heavy suitcase, right? By dragging it on the ground, it is very difficult to move a heavy suitcase, right? Because at that time the sliding friction between the heavy suitcase and the ground is very large. Okay, because at that time the sliding friction between the heavy suitcase and the ground is very large. So if this heavy suitcase is fitted with small wheels like this, if the heavy suitcase is fitted with small wheels, these small wheels are also called as rollers. What? Rollers. So if this heavy suitcase is fitted with small wheels which are called as rollers, then it can be pulled very easily. Why? Because when we attach wheels, then sliding friction is converted into rolling friction, and rolling friction between the wheels of suitcase and the ground is much less. So therefore friction can be reduced by attaching wheels or rollers to a heavy suitcase or any other heavy object which is to be moved. Okay, so due to very small rolling friction, even a child can pull a heavy suitcase which is fitted with small wheels or rollers. Okay, so let's see what is given in our book. You must have seen attaches and other pieces of luggage fitted with rollers, right? Even a child can pull such pieces of luggage. Why is it so? Let us find out. As I have mentioned already that it is due to the conversion of the sliding friction to the rolling friction. When we fit a rollers or wheels in a heavy load, then the sliding friction will be converted into rolling friction, and the rolling friction between the wheels and the ground is much less. So therefore it is quite easy so as to move a heavy load or heavy object. Clear? So activity 12.4, what is given to you here? You have to take few pencils which are cylindrical in shape, right? Like this, 3 pencils they have taken which is cylindrical in shape. Place them parallel to each other on a table. You have to place them in a table, on a table, and you have to place a thick book over it. Now push the book. You have to push the book. Okay, you observe the pencils rolling as the book moves, right? When we push a book, then we'll see that the pencil will roll. Okay, the pencil will roll as the book moves. So do you feel it easier to move the book in this way than to slide it? Which one is easier? See, it is always easier to roll than to slide. Why? Because on rolling the friction will be reduced. Okay, the friction will be reduced. Okay, so it is always easy to roll than to slide it. So therefore it is easier to move the book by rolling, okay, than by sliding. Okay, so do you think that resistance to motion of the book has been reduced? Yes, resistance is reduced, that is friction is reduced to the motion of the book. Okay, have you seen heavy machinery being moved by placing logs under it? Yes, you have seen, right? The heavy machines, the heavy loads, those are moved from one place to another by trucks, by vehicles. Okay, and those vehicles have what? Those vehicles have wheels under it. Okay, so it is easy to move heavy load by By what? By placing wheels under it. Okay, by placing the wheels. Clear? Because rolling reduces friction. So when one body, what is rolling friction now? What is rolling friction? When one body rolls over the surface of another object or another body, when one object or one body, or like say a wheel, rolls over the surface of another object or another body, then the resistance to its motion is called rolling friction. Okay, resistance to its motion is called as what? Rolling friction. So therefore it is always easier to roll than to slide an object over another object. So therefore rolling friction is much less than sliding friction, and thus rolling reduces friction. Clear? So we have discussed in the previous classes, right, that there are sliding friction, static friction, and one new friction we have learned today. What is it? Rolling friction. Okay, so which one is greatest or which one is the least here? I will write it again here: sliding, static, and rolling. So out of these three, which one is the greatest? See, sliding friction is always smaller than the static friction, right? Sliding friction is always less than the static friction. We have learned this thing in the previous class, right? Sliding friction is smaller than the static friction. And today what we have learned? Today we have learned that rolling friction is less than the sliding friction. Okay, rolling friction is less than the sliding friction. So which one is the greatest now? Which one is the greatest? First of all comes static friction. Okay, then comes what? Sliding friction, and then comes rolling friction. Okay, then comes rolling friction. Therefore it is always easier to roll than to slide. Okay, and it is always easier to slide than the object which is at rest. Okay, remember, rolling friction is less than sliding friction, and sliding friction is less than static friction. Okay, so they are interrelated with each other. So what is rolling friction? As we have mentioned already, when one body rolls over the surface of another object or another body, then the resistance to its motion is called rolling friction, and rolling reduces friction. Therefore it is always easier to roll than to slide a body over another, and that is the reason it is convenient, or it is easier to pull the luggages fitted with rollers. So can you now understand why wheels is said to be one of the greatest inventions of mankind? Because it reduces the effort, right? It reduces the friction. Clear? So as discussed, that's rolling friction is smaller than the sliding friction. So sliding is replaced in most machines by rolling. Okay, by the use of ball bearings also. By the use of what? Ball bearings. So now what is ball bearings? Okay, ball bearings, say it is a device. It is a device. This one, ball bearings. You have seen this ball bearings in machine parts, right? In machine parts you have seen. In the bicycle also we have seen, I think. This ball bearings is a device which consists of rings, which consists of a ring of small metal balls. Okay, here, over here, these things, these part here, you can see the ball bearings. Okay, so ball bearings is a device which consists of a ring, of small metal balls. This is a ring, and it consists of small metal balls. Okay, so these small metal balls of a ball bearing can roll freely. It can roll freely. And the ball bearings are designed to make the moving parts of a machine to roll over each other rather than slide. Clear? So this ball bearing is introduced between two surfaces which have to rotate over each other. Remember, the ball bearings are introduced between the two surfaces which have to rotate over each other. Okay, so in most machines, sliding is replaced by the use of ball bearings. So common examples of the use of ball bearings are what? Between the hubs and the axles of ceiling fans and bicycles. Okay, between the hubs and axles of ceiling fans and bicycles, you can observe the ball bearings. Clear? Okay, so these ball bearings also reduces friction. Okay, then the last topic is there left, fluid friction. Okay, we'll complete this chapter today, and from the next day we will be giving you the question and answers from this chapter. Okay, so fluid friction. What is fluid? First of all, to understand fluid friction, you have to know about fluid first of all. Okay, what do you mean by the term fluid? See, those substances which are able to flow easily are called fluids. These fluids have no shape. Again, I repeat, those substances which are able to flow easily are called fluids. Which are able to flow easily are called fluids, and these fluids have no fixed shape, like liquids. What? Liquids. Like gases. 3 states of matter you have learned, right, in the lower classes: solid, liquid and gases. Okay, so liquids and gases will be they can flow easily. Okay, so liquids and gases are termed as, or are what? Fluids, because they can flow easily. So the most common liquid around us is what? Most common liquid around us is water, right? It is the example of liquid. Most common gas or say mixture of gases around us is what? Air, right? So air is also termed as a fluid. It is also referred to as what? Fluid. So water and air are the most common fluids around us. Okay, and there is friction whenever an object moves through a fluid. There is friction exists whenever an object moves through a fluid. Okay, and that friction is called as what? Fluid friction. There is friction whenever an object moves through a fluid, and that friction is called as what? Fluid friction. Clear? So you see about fluid friction. Air is very light and thin, right? Air is very light and thin, but then also it exerts a frictional force on objects which are moving through it. Okay, and it opposes their motion. The frictional force opposes their motion on the motion of the moving object. So when an object moves through air, it pushes the air out of the way, and air pushes back on the object. So this push of air on the moving object creates friction, which tends to slow down the moving object. Okay, so air exerts frictional force on cars, buses, aeroplanes, rockets, birds, etc., moving through it. Similarly, water is a liquid, right? So water also exerts force of friction on objects which move through them, and they oppose their motion. So when an object moves through water, it pushes the water out of the way, and the water pushes back on the object. So this push of water on the moving objects creates friction, which tends to slow down the moving object. So water exerts frictional force on objects like, say, boats, speedboats, ships, submarines, fish, etc., which move through it. Clear? So we can say that air and water exert force of friction on objects moving through them. Okay, air and water are what? Fluids. So fluid exerts force of friction on objects moving through them. Clear? So you know that air is very light and thin, as we have discussed already. Yet it exerts frictional force on objects moving through it. Similarly, water and other liquids exert force of friction when objects move through them. So in science, the common name of gases and liquids is what? Is fluids. So we can say that fluids exert force of friction on objects in motion through them. Those objects which are moving in fluids, then the fluids will exert frictional force on the moving object. Okay. Now there is a term which is given in your book. The definition of this term is what? The definition is what? Of drag. D-R-A-G. Drag, or we can say drag force. So what is drag force, or what is drag? The frictional force exerted by a fluid, say air or water, is called drag. The frictional force exerted by fluids is called drag, okay, or drag force. So drag is a kind of frictional force exerted by a fluid which opposes the motion of an object through that fluid. Okay, drag force acts in a direction opposite to the direction of motion of the object. Why? Because frictional force, right? Drag is what? It is a frictional force. It is a frictional force of what? In fluids. So friction acts in the opposite direction to the motion of the object. So drag force also acts in a direction opposite to the direction of the motion of the object. So drag actually is what? Frictional force in fluids. Okay. So this drag, what it does, it slows down the object which are moving through the fluids, and it makes the speeding up harder for the moving object. Okay, now there are some factors on which the magnitude of frictional force depends. Okay, the magnitude of frictional force or drag force exerted by a fluid on an object moving through it depends on four factors. First of all, it depends on its speed. Okay, it depends on its speed. It depends on the speed of the object. Next one, it depends on the shape of the object. Okay, and the last one, it depends on the nature of the fluid. Okay, so the magnitude of frictional force or drag force depends on four factors. First of all is what? Speed of the object. Second one is shape of the object, and the third one is nature of the fluid, or yes, nature of the fluid. Clear? Now, the last paragraph of this chapter, let us see. It is obvious that when objects move through fluids, they have to overcome friction on them. Right? When an object is moving through fluid, they have to overcome the force of friction, because the fluid exerts frictional force, right? Fluid exerts frictional force on the moving objects through them. So when the object is moving through the fluid, they have to overcome the frictional force so that they can move forward. Okay. So when objects move through fluids, they have to overcome frictional force acting on them. So in this process, they lose energy. Because they have to overcome the frictional force, right? So they have to lose energy. So therefore, efforts are made to minimize the frictional force. Okay? Efforts are made to minimize frictional force. How? By giving the object some special shapes. Those objects which are moving in the fluids, they have some special shapes. Okay, they have some special shapes. Why? So as to minimize the force of friction, so that they should not lose much energy. They are given special shapes so as to minimize the fluid friction. Okay, so where do you think the scientists get hints for these special shapes? From nature, of course. Like say birds and fishes. Birds and fishes have to move about in fluids all the time. Okay, birds and fish have to move in fluids all the time. Okay. So the scientists, the engineers, they got the idea for making the streamlined shapes of various moving bodies. Okay, birds and fish have what? Streamlined shape of their body, streamlined, so that they can move in fluids very easily. Birds move in air, fish move in water. Okay, so the scientists and engineers, they got the idea for making the streamlined shapes of various moving bodies from the living things in nature, such as from the birds and fish. Okay, from the birds and fish. So their bodies, the birds and fish, they have to move about in fluids all the time. So their bodies must have evolved to shapes which would make them not to lose much energy in overcoming friction when they are moving in fluids, right? When the birds and fishes are moving in fluids, they should not, or they could not lose much energy. Their bodies are designed in such a way from the nature only, and in that way they will overcome the friction. Okay, in that way they will overcome the friction. Take the example of aeroplane. Aeroplane has a streamlined shape. Aeroplane also have a what? Streamlined shape. Just look at the figure. Just look at and compare these two. birds and aeroplane. Aeroplane has a streamlined shape so as to reduce the air friction, so as to reduce the air resistance, so as to reduce the drag. Okay, aeroplane has a streamlined shape to reduce the air friction that it encounters when flying at high speed through the sky. So the shape of an aeroplane is similar to that of a bird in flight. Okay, both aeroplane and bird have a streamlined body in the middle portion. They have two wings like this. Okay, they have two wings, and a tail is also there. Okay, birds also have what? A tail. Okay, so if you compare the aeroplane and bird, both have the same streamlined shape. Okay, so this streamlined shape of an aeroplane was built by scientists and engineers, whereas the streamlined shape of a bird has evolved from nature. So therefore scientists and engineers took the idea from the birds, so as to design the shape of an aeroplane, so that when aeroplane moves in a fluid, so that when the aeroplane moves in a air, they could reduce, or they could overcome the friction very easily without losing much energy. Okay, so do you find any similarity in its shape and that of a bird? Right, we have discussed already. The shape is what? Streamlined shape. Both the shape of the bird and the aeroplane is what? Streamlined. Okay, so as to reduce air friction. Okay, so in fact all vehicles are designed to have shapes which reduce fluid friction. In fact all the vehicles which you observe in your daily life, they are designed so as to reduce the fluid friction, because they move in air in only, right? They have to reduce the fluid friction because they move in generally fluid. Clear? So this completes your chapter. Okay, in the next video I will be providing you the question and answers from this chapter. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you and have a nice day.